I'm Kevin Coleman with the Saddle Post, and I am in the Ross Soil and Water Conservation District, or at least some of the shared office space you have here at the Ross County Service Center.
We call it the Farm Corner. The Farm Service Agency is here with us. OSU Extension is right next door, and it's a one-stop shop for all your farming needs.
And speaking of which, you mentioned something to the commissioners this Monday, and why don't you introduce yourself too?
Oh, certainly, Kevin. My name is Bob Neal. I'm the administrator for the Ross Soil and Water Conservation District. We were at the commissioners to let them know about a program that's going to be coming to Ross County through the Ohio Department of Agriculture. H2Ohio Expansion is what the Department of Agriculture is calling it. And it's called expansion because H2Ohio is an initiative from Governor DeWine, and it really started back 10 or 15 years ago when Toledo had their water system backed up with algae in Lake Erie. So Northwest Ohio has been implementing some of these programs that the Department of Agriculture offers. Now, H2Ohio is an expansive program with the state. So Department of Natural Resources and Ohio EPA have programs as well. But what we were presenting to the commissioners is the district's relationship with the Ohio Department of Agriculture. So that's what we're talking about here.
And this deals with water conservation or avoid pollution?
It affects Soil and Water Conservation District. This aspect of the water conservation is really to prevent fertilizer runoff, nutrients as they're known in the industry. So H2Ohio is designed to reduce excess nutrient runoff by providing an incentive to producers to really use best management practices when applying fertilizer.
And that's the primary cause of the algal blooms. The fertilizer feeds them.
Well, that's an open debate, but yes. Okay. In the Western Lake Erie Basin, the counties there, everything that flows into the Maumee River flows into Lake Erie, and yes, nutrients are a suspected cause, but the jury is out. I mean, it is an open question because farmers will remind people that homeowners are just as guilty of over-applying fertilizer in some instances. So that's an open question that I'm not really prepared to debate here.
I've heard that statistically there maybe more runoff from yards than from farms.
That's the open questions. Farmers often get the blame for a lot of this when it really still is an open question. But leaving that to the side, here, as you know, most all the water from Ross County flows into the Scioto, the Ohio, the Mississippi, and eventually in the Gulf. So you hear about the red tide and the dead zone in the Gulf. It's believed that nutrients from 26 states feed that. So, but Governor DeWine's initiative, I think, is to address Ohio waterways and keeping those waterways as clean as possible by reducing excess nutrients.
And you said that there is a little financial incentive for farmers to make a plan.
There is. A nutrient management plan. The district is going to assist producers develop and implement a nutrient management plan. This is called a voluntary nutrient management plan. And the Department of Agriculture will make payments to Ross County producers. For instance, producers will receive $5 per acre for 2 years just to develop a plan. And then there's more incentives, either $10 or $15 per acre, depending on whether or not they implement a basic plan or a more precise precision plan. Now this is capped at 750 acres per producer, and there is a 10,000 acre cap for Ross County. So when those are filled up, they're filled up. But really overall these incentives, if you add them up and look at the averages and the number of acres, the incentives from the Department of Agriculture to producers could total up to $400,000 over the next 2 years.
Now, modern agribusiness is pretty complex and scientific and financial, so what would a plan like this involve?
I'll be honest, I'm the administrator. I don't have as much program knowledge as some of our other staff do here that will be actually implementing the plan, so I don't really feel comfortable into getting into some of the particular aspects of the plan, because you're right, it's very data intensive. But what producers need to know to at least get started is they need to know their field boundaries and locations. A soil test. They need to have a recent soil test. By that we mean soil samples taken in 2021 or more recently. Need a valid email address. And there are some restrictions. The ground cannot currently be receiving any payments for any nutrient management practices from any government program. Now you can be involved in, say, farmers would be familiar with the EQIP program, but if you're involved in an EQIP program, you can still apply to this program as long as it's not a nutrient management aspect of EQIP. It's known to producers as 590 practices, but as long as you're not in one of those, the ground would still be eligible.
All right, and you said this should be implemented very soon? Very
soon. We don't have an exact implementation date yet, but it's going to be a very short enrollment window. So I appreciate you coming by, because we want to get the word out here at the district to let people know. So as soon as we're able to start taking applications, we will. Until then, feel free to call the district office. You can reach us at the easiest way to reach us is the telephone. It's the same number as the Farm Service Agency, 740-772-1711, but press extension 3 for the Soil and Water Conservation District, and we can answer your initial questions, get some initial information, and when the enrollment period hits, we'll be able to get you signed up.
Okay. Can they find anything online on this, or?
Not at this time. This is really, and the reason we were at the commissioners earlier in this week was we wanted to let them know what we knew as soon as we can, but we don't have all the details yet. And again, there really isn't an official enrollment date as of yet, but we wanted to let the commissioners know sooner than later.
And agriculture is Ross County's biggest industry, I believe.
It's up there. I think.
That's what I've heard.
I think medical might, it depends on how you look at the numbers.
Okay.
But it's definitely a major industry when you add up all the producers, all the full-time farmers, all the part-time farmers, all the people that support, that might be on their payroll as farmhands or whatever, and even the ag retailers. You count all those people, and yes, agriculture is a very large industry in Ross County.
Well, I know I pay into it. I'm a customer of a farm supply place because I have chickens now. So
there you go.
All right, and your website and perhaps email address?
The website and yes, you can check this. I mean, we'll have, as soon as we have official information to put up there, we will. It's www.rosscountyswcd.org, and that last part stands for Soil Water Conservation District.
And people can find other contact information there, like phone numbers and email.
Sure, and you can contact me, admin@rosscountyswc.org, or all of our email addresses are on the website. So look there, and if you're curious about this, go ahead and give us a call. We'll answer any questions we can, and then be ready for the enrollment process.
All right. Bob Neal, former co-worker at Clear Channel, Chillicothe, now iHeart. And what is your...
I worked for Clear Channel twice and iHeart twice, but anyway, I'm just glad to be on with you today, Kevin.
All right. And what is your official title here?
I'm the administrator.
All right. Of the Ross Soil and Water Conservation District.
That's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Kevin, thank you. Have a good day.